Your chest tightens. Your eyes scan the room for a face that turns toward you. Your brain thinks it's about to be abandoned because a group chat went quiet. That gut drop isn't random. It's a survival alarm your brain still runs today. Losing your tribe's attention once meant losing protection, food, and warmth. Brain scans confirm it. In 2003, Naomi Eisenberger and her team at UCLA excluded volunteers from a simple game of catch, and their brains lit up in the exact region that processes physical pain. In a related study, a simple pain reliever measurably eased the sting of that same rejection. Not a metaphor, the same circuitry. A 2015 meta-analysis led by Julianne Holt-Lundstad at Brigham Young University found something starker. Chronic isolation raises the risk of early death by roughly 29%, a risk comparable to smoking. Taken to its extreme, a 2022 Vera Institute report found that people held in solitary confinement die by suicide at more than 5 times the rate of the general prison population. This isn't a personal flaw. It's a very old alarm, built for a different world, and still fully armed inside you.
So let's go back to where it started. Because for most of the time humans have existed, exclusion carried a cost far heavier than hurt feelings. This is a small band, perhaps 30 people scattered across an open plain. For nearly all of human history, this was your entire world. Step outside this circle, and you did not simply lose company. You lost the very things keeping you alive. Kipling Williams, who has spent decades studying ostracism at Purdue University, puts it plainly. For a group-dependent species, being cast out amounted to a death sentence. Let's get into it.
Evolutionary psychologists call this the need to belong, and they don't mean it as a metaphor. A landmark 1995 review argues belonging is a fundamental human motivation, as basic as hunger. A single hunter could not bring down a large animal alone and could not watch every direction at once. The group was the technology, not fire, not tools, each other. Evolutionary psychologists describe this as an ostracism detection system, wired by natural selection to notice exclusion almost instantly. The ancestors who felt real alarm at being overlooked stayed close to the group and survived to pass that alarm on. The ones who shrugged it off simply did not. So the alarm won. It is still running in you, quietly, right now. But here's what rarely gets said about ancient exclusion. It almost never happened by accident.
In small bands, everyone knew exactly where they stood with everyone else. There were no group chats, no read receipts, no long silence to interpret. If someone was upset with you, you knew within the hour. A look, a turned back, a missing invitation to the hunt. These bands moved constantly across the land, but almost never alone. Traveling by yourself was already a small exile. There was no ghosting. Silence itself would have been immediately suspicious. Reputation moved at the speed of a spoken sentence. No delay, no misread tone, no algorithm deciding who saw what. Daily survival depended on staying visibly, actively part of the group, and conflict got resolved face to face because it had to. You could not simply unfriend your only source of food. This sounds stressful. Mostly, it was not. Constant contact meant constant reassurance. You always knew, quite plainly, where you stood. Compare that to now, where you can spend an entire day surrounded by people and still feel like no one knows you are there. That gap, constant reassurance then, constant uncertainty now, is where a great deal of the ache lives.
Every night, the group gathered around a single fire, not for warmth alone, for proof. Proof that you still belonged, delivered every night, without you ever having to ask for it. Storytelling was not entertainment. It was a role, and everyone in the band had one. The hunter told what happened that day. The elder told what had happened years before. Every voice got a turn, and every turn was a small, repeated proof. You matter here. Physical closeness mattered just as much. Bodies near a fire, shoulders touching. Food was shared before it was eaten. Passing a portion to someone else was a belonging ritual, quietly disguised as dinner. There was no real way to be quietly forgotten. The structure of the day
simply would not allow it.
Modern researchers have found something that helps explain why this nightly ritual mattered so much. People register distress even watching someone else get excluded, not just when it happens to them, which means simply being visibly included every single day was doing real protective work, not just for you, but for everyone watching too. Not a party, not a dramatic reconciliation, just the fire, every night, whether or not anyone said anything especially meaningful. That was the ancient system, nightly, physical, structurally guaranteed belonging. No one had to perform for it. It simply happened, every day by design. Here is the uncomfortable part.
You still carry the ancient alarm. You have simply lost the ancient fire. Hundreds of contacts, group chats you are technically part of. None of it delivers what a campfire once did. A 2024 update puts real numbers behind it. Social isolation raises mortality risk by about 35%, living alone by 21%, and loneliness itself by 14%, in older adults specifically. Digital contact can look like belonging and still leave the alarm ringing. There is no shared fire here, no shoulder resting against yours, no guaranteed nightly proof that you are still inside the circle. You are receiving the ancient trigger for exclusion, constantly, without the ancient system that once switched it off. Some researchers connect this same mismatch to modern depression itself, a threat detection system stuck in the on position, long after the original danger has passed. That mismatch, not any personal failing, is the actual source of the ache.
So here is what actually closes that gap. The first lesson? Manufacture the fire. Repeated low-effort contact beats rare grand gestures. A short message sent on a schedule, not only when something is wrong. The second lesson? Get in a room with a body in it. Ancient belonging was never only words, it was proximity. Trade one video call this week for one shared meal in person. The third lesson? Offer the smallest ritual, not the biggest apology. A small, recurring gesture, same day, same time, every week, reads as belonging more clearly than an occasional grand one. None of this requires 30 people or a literal fire. It requires repetition, presence, and a body in the room. Your alarm is not broken. It is simply waiting for proof it has not received in a while.
Give it that proof on purpose, and it settles the same way it always has. That group chat going quiet, it was never proof that you do not matter. It was only quiet. The real fire is still there, waiting. It is only one unlonely dinner away. You were never made to be forgotten. You were made to be sat next to.